Hi there, and good morning, good afternoon, and indeed good evening, everyone. Welcome to our May Partner Bootcamp, sponsored by Amazon. My name's Gary Levitt, and I'm Senior Director for the channel in EMEA at Aquia. And I'm joined today by some very interesting and exciting guests who I'd like to introduce to you, Maggie Schroeder and Alex Dalcanto, who will be talking through some exciting topics that we've lined up for you today. If we can quickly move to the agenda, then I'll talk us through the agenda that we have lined up today. So Maggie's going to kick us off with an overview of a new launch, a new solution, our Acquia Cloud Next. And after that, Alex is going to talk us through an update on our new Acquia DXP pricing, and then also go into Composable Commerce and our DX Alliance and what that means for our partners. And following that, we will have a live Q&A where everyone gets to put their questions to Maggie and to Schroeder and to Alex and to the broader team. We'll finish that off with our traditional quiz sponsored by Amazon. So please do stay until the end. There's a chance for you to win an Amazon gift voucher. We have some questions that you'll be able to interactively answer in order to throw your hat in the ring for that Amazon gift voucher, and then we'll wrap up. Just a point of order as well for today before I hand over to Maggie. Please use the Q&A window of Zoom to put your questions to our panelists today rather than the chat function, and then we'll pick those questions up as we go through the Q&A. So without further ado, I'd like to hand over to Maggie and an overview of Acquia Cloud Next. Take it away, Maggie.
Awesome. Thanks so much. So nice to meet everyone on the call today. My name is Maggie Schroeder. I work as a Principal Product Marketing Manager covering the Drupal Cloud side of the house here at Aquia. And I'm here first and foremost to talk to you about Acquia Cloud Next. And of course, as mentioned, please feel free to drop any questions as I go through the next few topics in the chat. But let's hop right into Acquia Cloud Next. You might have heard a little bit about Acquia Cloud Next in our recent press release. We hinted at what was coming, but we're really here to give you a sneak peek to something we'll be announcing within Q2. So Acquia Cloud Next is the industry's first Kubernetes native, an emphasis here on native, enterprise-grade Drupal hosting platform, and it's optimized for Drupal. So of course, staying true to our roots of making sure that we have the best platform on the market for Drupal applications. And what this is going to mean for customers is that they're going to have even faster dynamic scaling than any other platform on the market. We've also, again, by being Kubernetes native and ultimately optimizing our Kubernetes platform for Drupal, we're able to create a very resilient platform that's actually self-healing. And then finally, of course, we're really doubling down on our commitment to security and compliance. So again, Aquia has always been committed to creating the most secure platform and of course, meeting all of the business compliance needs that our customers require. And we're continuing on that guarantee to our customers to build the most secure platform. So that's really Cloud Next at a high level, but let's take a look at what's really going on under the hood here. So you can see on the left-hand side, we have our typical architecture that we've supported customers on very successfully. Again, customers like NBC Olympics, we've supported the Grammys, and tons of other high traffic events in the past. It required high levels of scalability, but also security. And again, if we flip over to the right-hand side, this is our new architecture that's supporting Cloud Next. And we're really taking advantage of some of the latest and greatest technologies that Amazon has to offer. So technologies like Amazon EKS on the web layer, Amazon EFS for our file system, and then of course, for the database, AWS Aurora provision. And all of this, again, will continue on our commitment to resiliency, security, and performance for our customers' application, always being high availability by design for our enterprise customers, always having, again, the highest level of security built into the platform, and making sure that we're continuing our commitment to compliance standards. So again, really giving our customers access to technologies that are really, again, at the cutting edge at Amazon. So when you're talking to customers about Cloud Next, this is really just a major update to our cloud platform, right? And it's actually included for all of our customers. It's not a new product. It's not something that they need to purchase. All customers are going to begin to take advantage of Cloud Next. And again, it's free to them. So we're providing this to all of our customers at no additional cost, which is really, again, going back to our commitment to providing the best platform for our customers. We want to make sure that they're all able to take advantage of these new technologies that scale faster, are more resilient, and are ultimately going to become, more secure as well. So when you're talking to customers, really, it's just a major update, and the process to upgrade is really fairly simple. So again, keep an eye out there for this announcement, which is coming within Q2. Oh, and final housekeeping item here too as well. You'll notice in our documentation that we're going to start referring to our classic cloud infrastructure. So that was the architecture that I showed you on the left-hand side as classic cloud. So already gave away the name there as I introduced it. But again, classic cloud infrastructure is how you're going to see that referred to in our documentation. And then when we're talking about Acquia Cloud Next, we're talking about Acquia Cloud Next technologies or Acquia Cloud Next infrastructure. So those are really the new ways that we're going to be speaking about these two infrastructures that we have supporting our customers as we begin to upgrade more and more customers to Cloud Next. So super exciting stuff there. And, again, there's more than just infrastructure on our customers' mind, though. It always comes back to the application. And one of the things that we've been hearing a ton from our customers is, when it comes to their applications, a lot of our customers are still on Drupal 7. And so they're starting to think about a Drupal 7 to Drupal 9 migration. And why? Again, I mentioned we've been hearing this from a lot of our customers. Many Drupal users are still on Drupal 7. So this is actually data taken from, I believe, Q4 of 2020. So around 61% of Drupal users are still on Drupal 7 or below. And so that's a huge amount of customers today. And really, just to give a quick summary of why Drupal 7 to Drupal 9 migrations are so complex, really you're going to have to rebuild your Drupal 9 presentation layer, but also Drupal 9 changed the way that databases and content configuration was stored. So it requires, again, that whole migration from Drupal 7 to Drupal 9. And I'm really saying this in the simplest terms. It is a whole process. And so we recognize that here at Aquia. And we actually have, if any of you are Drupalists on the call today, you might recognize his name, WebChick, but Angie Byron is WebChick, and she is a huge, I'd say almost famous person in the Drupal community. And she recognized this problem, works at Aquia, and decided to create Aquia Migrate Accelerate to help our customers accelerate their Drupal 7 to Drupal 9 migrations by up to 80%. And so what she did was her and a team of, again, Drupal experts built an advanced migration UI on top of Drupal's Migrate API. And it really lowers the barrier of entry for any developer. So it makes it, instead of having to use your top developer resources, you can leverage someone who might be more on the junior developer side of the house. And it provides a whole migration workspace, as well as builds in Aquia best practices and knowledge. It even spins up a Drupal 9 application and looks at your Drupal 7 application and pre-installs all of the modules that are compatible with Drupal 9 onto that application that's spun up. Super cool technology. And I'm sure you're asking yourself, how do I find out more about Acquia Migrate Accelerate, and how can I leverage this with my Acquia customers? We do have an upcoming bootcamp on June 24th, where we'll be diving into Drupal 7 to Drupal 9 migration, also the ease of Drupal 8 to Drupal 9 migration, right? So Drupal 7 to Drupal 9, fairly complex. Drupal 8 to Drupal 9, pretty easy. We'll also be looking through a competitive analysis of who else offer this. A little hint there, no one else has an automated tool for Drupal 7 to Drupal 9 migration, so pretty cool and unique. And then finally, we'll be talking about Drupal 9 migration sales wins. So definitely sign up for this upcoming Partner Bootcamp. We'll be diving a lot deeper into this topic. And with that, I'll pass it over to Alex.
Thank you very much, Maggie. Pricing and packaging for all suite vendors that are out there, all DXPs, frankly, that are out there are complex and frankly very confusing, both internally in many cases for businesses, but ultimately also for our customers. So we at Aquia have really taken the last year or so to fully rekindle our pricing and packaging structure to make it as straightforward as possible for both our sellers, our partners, as well as our clients to understand our pricing, see where they're getting value from our platform, and ultimately help us sell better. So there is one base common theme that you'll see across our new pricing and packaging, and that is that we are the very first DXP vendor to implement a unified pricing metric across our DXP solutions. On the Marketing Cloud side, that metric is profiles, and on the Drupal Cloud side, that metric is views. And we've organized our packages, as you'll see in just a moment, in both clouds into 4 core packages: Activate, Core, Core Plus, and Enterprise. So the only thing that we will need to know, and we all will need to know, for us to price something for our customers, are number 1, the capabilities that they need to meet their use cases and requirements. Number 2, how much do they need? How many profiles? How many views? Where are they going to grow to? Right? What is their objective? And number 3, any add-ons to meet the outlier use cases that don't fit within the 80% margin of average use cases that we see within market. So on the next slide, you'll see exactly how we've organized Drupal Cloud. Now, Drupal Cloud was a meaty topic in and of itself. I joined Aquia about 1.5 years ago, and when I was first introduced to all of the different components and variables and levers that we could pull on the Drupal Cloud side, I became overwhelmed very, very quickly, to be perfectly frank. And I think I'm probably not alone in that regard. And so this is the ultimate simplification of our packages designed to meet our customer needs, tied to their functional objectives, as well as their funded initiatives, from the mid-market all the way through to enterprise. Whether a customer is starting with a basic informative application, all the way through to the enterprise model to scale sites globally and scale revenue generating sites globally. And so this is a very, very easy way for our customers to understand what they're getting with these pre-packaged solutions on the Drupal Cloud side, and for them to grow with these packages over time as clients can start with Core and work their way up in year 2 of their contract to Core Plus and to Enterprise in year 3 as they move along their maturity curve. On the next slide, you'll see our Marketing Cloud packages. Again, very similar in concept, in fact, exactly the same. We have the same Activate, Core, Core Plus, and Enterprise packaging. And this is an industry first on the Marketing Cloud side, I like to think. In fact, I know, because every single Marketing Cloud out there has different metrics that they have to work across, whether it's their campaign management solution, their personalization solution, an analytics solution, or some form of a data platform. They all have different metrics. And the fantastic news here with this new pricing and packaging structure is that no matter whether you're starting, small with the need to engage your customers very, very quickly through Campaign Studio and personalization to deliver engaging experiences at the highest of levels, or really working your way up from a foundation of Acquia CDP to know your customers and ultimately engage them anywhere and everywhere across the multiple brands, teams, franchises, or deployments that you have. You can do that with our new Marketing Cloud packaging here. And the even more fantastic news on the Marketing Cloud side is that the Core, Core Plus, and Enterprise packages now come with a new level of support to make our customers successful, ensure that they are successful. And this is the Marketing Cloud Consultant, which is really a strategic advisor for all of our clients to help them roadmap and implement their roadmap to help them achieve their goals throughout the lifetime of their contract through to renewal and beyond. And on the next slide, our DXP is composed of these two parts, right? Marketing Cloud and Drupal Cloud, but it would be no DXP if these pricing structures did not meet at some point. And so we are very excited to share with you all that whether you are starting at Activate or going all the way through to Enterprise, our packages align 100%. So if we do have a client, as many of them are exploring and do today, who requires both a data and content solution from Aquia, we are very easily able to meet that with very clear and prescriptive packaging by aligning the Marketing Cloud and Drupal Cloud packaging to create our DX offerings. And I'll pause there if there are any questions on pricing. If not, we'll move directly onto commerce. So next slide, please. As you all may have heard, when we launched earlier at our Partner Summit, earlier in the year at our Partner Summit, we introduced the DX Alliance. Now, the Acquia DX Alliance is more than just a technology partner program. This is really an alliance of best-of-breed vendors tied to our SI community and our agency partners to create pre-composed solutions that allow us to deliver composable solutions extremely quickly for our customers. And there's a huge amount of value here, particularly as we rapidly expand our ISV partnerships. And this opportunity started in commerce, obviously, but it's growing very, very quickly to other verticals. And as I said, right, on the next slide, you'll see that more than just a technology partner community, because despite all of the investments that companies have made over the years, most brands really still are not able to execute experiences effectively. I personally can honestly tell you that I get at least one brand per day that lets me down in one shape or form. It's funny for me because I get to pick those experiences apart and share them as bad examples with my prospects. But for the rest of the world, that's one of 3 customers that a brand actually risks alienating and losing at the end of the day. And this need is exactly what is fueling a composable commerce revolution, hence why we're starting, and we have started with commerce. Moving away from the monolith structure of the past and connecting all teams across your business, whether they be marketing or commerce teams or IT teams, to allow brands to actually create these shoppable experiences and pivot extremely quickly, thanks to this entirely new architecture, which is really taking shape right now, so that brands can unlock creativity and the energy to actually execute effectively. Next slide, please. Because at the end of the day, we all need to be extremely nimble, particularly when it comes to commerce, effortlessly testing, iterating continuously, and building these new experiences to convert. Because the brands that actually get this right and consider their customers and what they're actually trying to achieve and how they can help them as their tastes and preferences and needs change over time, even when their past preferences may not even be indicators of their future buying patterns, are those brands that will win. And those are the brands that will help us grow together for the long run, thanks to the composable solutions that we create to help them achieve this. Next slide, please. To achieve this, really, any modern commerce strategy must be built atop a composable DXP, leveraging the components that brands need today to deliver these exceptional experiences, with the flexibility to quickly onboard future technologies to continue to accelerate growth for tomorrow. This agility is really key, as each and every brand and business wants to be that trusted entity that we all come back to and spend more dollars with because they know us better than everyone else. And at the end of the day, content and data are at the core of achieving this. And Acquia DXP is that composable core. If you think about it, Drupal was the original composable framework. Next slide, please. And we really start by rectifying the data failures of eras past. And we place a data strategy upfront to unify all the information generated across all channels, sort of across any systems, so that brands can truly empower their employees to engage their customers on an individual basis, leveraging the ability of every single employee to actually understand who you are as a consumer and give you the ability give their employees rather the ability to make informed decisions and build the content and experiences around those insights to fuel these individual experiences extremely quickly. Next slide, please. Acquia really helps brands put this strategy in place that unifies all first-party data and helps brands move beyond trying to buy customers with relentless ads that we've all been bombarded with, but rather engage them online in an extremely compelling way, using all those rich insights that they've shared with a brand and they actually want brands to use, as we all know. As such, we really believe that brands must put in place a platform that drives customer intelligence, and that platform is Acquia CDP. And with that at the center of their data strategy, everyone from marketers to data scientists to IT and customer service teams can all start providing these insights to the organization to drive customer success. Next slide, please. And a key part for commerce, really, when you think about it, is unifying online and offline data. We all shop everywhere at the end of the day. I'm in multiple places at once. We're always interacting with different parts of an organization, online, offline, with sales or support, through our wearables, through our mobile phones, even in the car sometimes as we drive to the store. And integrating all of those online and offline behaviors into that unified view of the customer is extremely crucial, particularly as business models have shifted in the past year or so, or last 2 years at this point, from offline to online, and now start shifting back again in hybrid models. Next slide, please. It's also important that brands change their culture, and we can help them do this together, from just thinking about customers as another row in their database, but rather truly unlocking curiosity and empathy and leveraging machine learning and predictive analytics to actually discover insights and deliver them to employees so that they can deliver these tailored experiences anywhere, even in person, regardless of their function. Next slide, please. And these foundational insights inform experience creation to differentiate and allow brands to compete successfully today and again in future, accelerating that path to purchase, making it extremely easy and quick for consumers to actually discover products in the moment and allow brands to fulfill at lightning speed anywhere. Next slide, please. And when it comes to composing these informed experiences, Acquia DXP delivers unique value to our clients compared to any other solution, with a hybrid model that combines a headless and SaaS approach, enabling the maximum usability of our solution to test, again, iterate, personalize, and deploy these experiences very quickly by all users through no-code tools like Site Studio to allow anyone to create beautiful experiences at scale. And in practical terms, on the next slide, you'll see that this means that brands will not only need additional resources to be successful, but that their existing teams will shift from being heavily development focused, drawing complexity and limiting innovation, to an experience focused model on the next slide, whereby any business user can quickly ideate and create exceptional experiences with maximum agility, saving themselves a lot of time along the way and setting themselves up for long-term success, no matter what happens, as we help them onboard more composable elements into their infrastructure to create and innovate experiences. Next slide, please. And so we truly believe in this new composable future and in our partnerships to fulfill these rich end-to-end experiences, enhanced by machine learning and actually helping customers find what they need, when they need it, wherever they're engaging, and taking the complexity out of composability for our joint clients. Next slide, please. And ultimately, we believe in doing this extremely quickly. We want to work with each and every one of you to deliver digital commerce for all of our customers as fast as they can dream up their next campaign. And as we'll walk through now, the results really speak for themselves. We actually worked with a client and TA Digital, one of our partners. The client is Singer for the purposes of this discussion, but that should not be shared externally beyond our partnerships. No prospect or client facing references, please. But this client worked with us to offboard an IBM commerce implementation, a monolith, if you will, and fully replatform with Acquia and implement an entirely new experience, as you'll see, in just 13 weeks to go live. And they saw the revenues shoot up 23% in about 6 months, which is frankly unbelievable. I mean, the implementation time is unbelievable in and of itself, as well as their conversion rate increase is quite exceptional as well. And we're very, very proud of this. And we'd love, again, to work with each and every one of you to develop new solutions to help all of our clients onboard commerce experiences built atop Acquia DXP in a composable manner at scale for everyone. Next slide, please. So if we just double click into this case study very, very briefly. In 2018, Singer, who actually sells about 1/3 of the world's sewing machines. If you're wearing a piece of clothing, chances are that it's touched the Singer machine at some point in time. And I certainly hope that we're all wearing clothing, even though we're not all on camera. They went from this almost non-existent infrastructure of e-commerce infrastructure that was extremely frustrating, and at the end of the day was tarnishing their brand. It was not a good reflection of who they were. And I think many, many brands, particularly direct-to-consumer brands that are shifting away from either B2B models or models where they're working through third-party resellers, or are now adapting hybrid models in collaborating with third-party resellers and also onboarding an outlet of their own. You know, there is no control over that experience. And so it's very difficult for people, for brands to actually deliver a unique experience that makes people want to come and engage with them. It's also difficult for people to find the information that they need. And obviously this past approach was very, very hard for the client here, Singer, to actually stand up and keep running and test and iterate and deploy these questionable experiences. And so in 2019, they approached us in NTA Digital to create a whole new approach, to implement a whole new approach that was extremely fast, quickly implemented, and delivered a lot of value, as you saw from the last slide, with features that you'll see on the next few slides. But I think ultimately the point that we want to get across here is that this was brand compliant today, and as they integrate new technologies and expand for the future, they can do so without high migration costs or burdens, and integrate new technologies extremely quickly as well, thanks to this composable approach. Next slide, please. And so these are just some quick visuals to give you a sense of where they started from. They were on IBM before they moved to Elastic Path. Their old infrastructure was quite fragile. And now, just by moving to a new future-proof solution, they've actually not only been able to re-architect and redesign the experience on their site, but ultimately extend that experience to mobile channels. And now about 50% of their sales come from mobile today, which is right in line with the average in market that we're seeing for commerce transactions. But they would not have been able to do that if they stuck with their old platform. Next slide, please. And then, you know, obviously the experience itself was quite outdated before for Singer as well. It was a very hard and rigid cookie cutter approach that they had to implement. Very little information was actually surfaced to the client. It was hard to sort things and actually discover the products that these clients wanted to onboard. And now with this new infrastructure, not only are they able to test these experiences very quickly and roll them out, but they have a slew of new features that they're able to onboard, a slew of new capabilities that they're able to integrate within their solution, from calling out which solutions are new to always refining their filtering strategies and the filters that they surface to the client, and even personalizing them to a certain point, and doing things like simple things like sorting by rating. And adding to the cart directly from the shopping page. Now, these seem like simple concepts, but these are the challenges that many of our clients, which run their brand websites on Drupal and leverage monoliths of the past for their commerce sites, still struggle with today. And we're seeing a great amount of interest and demand from our clients to break away from them and move to these new models. Next slide, please. And here, again, another great example of being able to surface rich content and provide and actually create an experience around the catalog, right? Whereas before there were these long paragraphs to try to describe what the products were, because there was no real other way to put that information on their site. Now, rich media is being leveraged across the site, from videos to assets, to streamline copy that is actually search engine friendly, to allow them to actually gain the right brand tone and voice for all their customers engaging with their brand. And this in and of itself shot up their add to cart rates, their conversion rates by 3 times, which is really quite remarkable for such a simple change. We are visual shoppers at the end of the day. We are visual beings. Next slide, please. And finally, I think the simplest of them all, I mean, we have all seen Amazon succeed over time with the one-click to checkout feature, an extremely powerful feature in of itself. People will pay more for your products if the experience is fantastic, and giving a seamless checkout process is central to that seamless experience. And so just by moving away from a 3-step multi-checkout experience on the Singer.com site, to a single page checkout, which is easy and most importantly secure, Singer saw a 5-time increase in their conversions from the checkout page. So, you know, think of, I mean, the numbers speak for themselves, really. If your customers are abandoning at that final moment in their checkout experience, that's revenue lost, and re-engaging them at that point is extremely difficult because they've likely bought it somewhere else, maybe Amazon themselves. Next slide, please. And so this is really step 1 for Singer, right? We started with them really right before COVID. The figures that you saw are figures that developed through COVID. They were testing and iterating and onboarding new features progressively through the very first few months, right before March in 2020. And they deployed this entire first experience right before the holiday season began, and they saw continuity and growth throughout that period as well. So they were able to not only continue their business, but actually scale from the get-go, despite undergoing a full replatforming of their commerce platform. And so I'm very pleased to share with you all that Singer is actually leveraging this foundation and growing with Acquia, TA Digital, and Elastic Path to launch 6 more sites for their other brands around the world, leveraging this approach. And so, like I said earlier, the opportunity is there. You know, we're just putting a stake in the ground with this composable approach and working with our partner community to create these pre-composed solutions for our clients to deploy extremely quickly. And we couldn't be more delighted to continue building them with you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alex, and also thank you, Maggie, for that very informative and those very informative and insightful presentations. Very powerful stuff. In particular, the case study, and hopefully, you know, all of our partners and we together can take some real inspiration from the Singer case study here and take that to other opportunities that we're working on together. We have a few sort of next steps as our key takeaways, and really a call to action, you know, to you all as part of the partner community that we'd like to go through. First of all, we have more exciting topics coming up in our June Partner Bootcamp, where we'll go more in detail on the topic of the Drupal 7 to Drupal 9 migration process and everything that goes, you know, hand in hand with that. So if you haven't already signed up for that, sign up for that. We also have an Adweek webinar coming up, 90 Days to E-commerce Success, which we all invite you to join in and sign up for as well. And then, you know, thirdly, and certainly, you know, equally importantly, as Alex has just mentioned, reach out to us, engage with us to create new DXP and commerce solutions that we can build together. So we're immediately available to discuss all of these topics and more together with you all in the coming days and weeks. Now, if we can move to the next slide, because we promised that there would be also an opportunity for questions to be asked. And we had a handful of questions that came through, which I'm going to try and put to our panelists, Maggie and Alex, in a sort of as logical an order as possible. And maybe Maggie, you can take this one, and maybe Alex wants to add to it. But the first question was, are there any action items required by customers and/or partners during the Cloud Next upgrade process? And what is a typical timeline for a site to upgrade?
Yeah, definitely. The upgrade process is fairly quick. I would just say, your account manager contact will have, more information around timelines for customer upgrades. We are doing this on a rolling basis. So based on, the different features and functions your customers are taking advantage of as part of the cloud platform, we'll be updating them, again, accordingly throughout the rest of the year. But yeah, as far as the upgrade process goes, if you have any, direct questions around, when will your customer be upgraded, and, how long will that take, I would definitely reach out to your account manager. And then, to the point about how long, it's really like, I would say the actual upgrade itself, I think only takes like 5 minutes, not even. So it's very, very simple. There is just some prep that needs to be done, but the account manager will be in touch, and also our support team will be working hand in hand to make sure, again, this is as light of a touch for you all as well as your customers. So it's really going to be more of a behind the scenes type of upgrade.
Thank you, Maggie. And there was some sort of, let's say, questions that come in a similar sort of vein, asking about what's the upgrade from Classic to Next look like? Should we discuss timelines with our clients? Is there any type of expected disruption in service? I think we've sort of covered those, but I wonder if you have any sort of final words, to address those types of questions.
Yeah. So again, if any of you have been through any kind of platform upgrades for customers in the past, it's the same process. So really, I would say, again, trying to make this as easy as possible for customers. I would say there's not much action. If you all are curious, I would reach out to, again, the account manager contact for your account, and they'll have an idea around timeline. But it's really our corporate comms will be in touch with the customer, warning them well ahead of time. And again, not much lift there at all. Our goal really for this upgrade was to make it as easy and seamless as possible for customers. And so that's what all of the customers who have been upgraded so far have experienced. So again, really on a great track there. But yeah, if there are any other questions, feel free to reach out to me directly as well. But yeah, your account management contact for your accounts would know in detail the timelines for each of your customers.
Great, thank you, Maggie. And Alex is nodding there in total agreement as well. Noted, thanks, Alex. There were a couple of questions also around the migration acceleration tool here, a handful of them. I'm just going to pick one out here, which is specifically around, is Drupal 7 to 9 migration tool an add-on for an account, and can we discuss with this person an example around pricing and timeline around that?
Yeah, great question. So we're actually including it for all of our Aquia Cloud Enterprise customers. Reason I say Aquia Cloud Enterprise, it isn't available to Aquia Cloud Professional customers. And it's also not yet compatible with Aquia Cloud Site Factory. But any of your Aquia Cloud customers who are leveraging Drupal 7 for any of their applications are eligible today. So if you have a customer in mind, reach out and we'll make sure that, again, I would say reach out to your account management contact and we can get them provisioned. It only takes, I'd say, less than a day to get Aquia Migrate Accelerate stood up in your customer's cloud account. And again, fully integrated with Aquia Cloud. And yeah, so if you have any Drupal 7 customers that you're talking to, they're all eligible.
Great, thank you, Maggie. And yeah, so I think there's one or two other questions. I think what we'll do is we'll take those away and respond to the people who put those to us in writing. At this point, I'd like to say a big thank you to all of our partners for joining today's bootcamp webinar. Again, sponsored by Amazon, and a big thank you to our presenters, Maggie and Alex as well.